And we're live. And as always, I am joined by Tommy B, Noob-Noob.
I regret everything.
As always, I am the man they call Z. And we're also joined by, you may know him from such commercials as Lady Speed Stick, no longer just for bearded women. And his own signature brand of cream, Preparation S, strictly for bearded white men.
And just to be used on your scrotum.
Just to be used.
That's why we call it Preparation S.
S for Scott Keebler. So
For scrotum, yes.
What's on the docket today, Noob-Noob?
We're going to be reviewing Thor Ragnarok, which just came out this weekend.
Rock my cock!
Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, okay, then there's that. So yeah, it just came out. We just have the opening numbers for opening weekends. It is estimated at $121 million, which is one of the highest openings.
Some money bones right there.
That's a winner right there.
Well, yeah, it's a winner for Marvel, that's for sure. Before we get into all of our, with the psychedelic nature of Thor, we thought it would be a really good idea to bring some absinthe into this conversation. So as you can see, and you'll see us throughout the episode, we'll be drinking our glasses of absinthe.
Yes, you can see on an audio podcast.
Well, for those of us who don't just listen to us on the podcast, we do have a YouTube channel, which upon you can see us drink our fancy glasses. You should actually probably watch this one on YouTube because Noob-Noob, who is a newbie to absinthe.
Oh, that is good. Let's not spoil it now. We do have a surprise coming later for Noob-Noob.
We do?
Yes, an absinthe surprise.
Yes, we do. He may have already tried. We did absinthe in the traditional way, and as you see, Scott and I have glasses.
And it's green, which is good because...
It's more like piss yellow, but
no,
sure.
it's green.
It's green.
It's not that green.
It's called La Louche.
Did you ever see Eurotrip? It's not the same color.
That's because...
Like, this is green. This thing that we're looking at here, people listening can't see it, but like Hulk is green.
Hulk is green.
Hulk is green.
It is not Hulk green.
I've pissed in a lot of bottles throughout the years, and trust me, it does not look like that.
It's like diluted Mountain Dew.
And the funny thing is, it's actually the brand sponsors Via Carrere, which is, I think it's a Pennsylvania-made absinthe, right, Noob-Noob?
I believe so. It's garbage, but sure, yeah.
No, it's sweet, delicious, and tasty.
No, it's good. It's really good. Just because you have no class at all doesn't mean you can call it garbage.
No. See, here's the thing. It's how you would feel if your father left your family on Christmas saying he's going to get cigarettes and just never came back. This is how this tastes. That level of depression and disappointment.
So
that's what
it tastes
absinthe
like your father.
Yeah. Oh no, pretty much. Except this doesn't touch me as much.
So what we did decide to do was give Noob-Noob a straight shot of absinthe, which is maybe not the recommended. There's like a whole... There's a procedure to doing absinthe. There's some pomp and circumstance. We'll post this on Instagram.
And yes, if you follow us on Instagram, we'll have video posted there of us burning
the proper
stuff.
Way. Well, that's the proper way to do absinthe.
Burning stuff.
Just burning stuff, and the proper way to do absinthe. So I guess without further ado, it is time for Noob-Noob to do his...
Oh, we're going to start out strong, are we?
I think we should start off strong because then we can monitor him throughout this and make sure that he's not tripping balls.
This is our science experiment.
Yes, for those of you who are unaware of what absinthe is, this is our science experiment. It is legal in the United States. It was made illegal, I think, back in 1913, and it definitely wasn't the Dodd-Frank Act. It was some other rule, which also made marijuana illegal. Basically, the guy was Xanadu. I don't care. I'll get into the history of that some other time. I really don't.
Pennsylvania law.
Yeah, those Quakers and the, we live in the state of,
which is BS. You knew they were smoking weed.
Yeah, exactly. They were all about their hemp, and let's get all right. I guess it's
Noob-Noob.
Can I have brunch first?
Nope.
Brunch is second.
It's better on an empty stomach.
I don't think that's how alcohol works.
No, it is, absolutely. That's every time I have alcohol, it's on an empty stomach.
Okay, well, let's see what happens.
Is your stomach ever empty, though, Scott?
No, my stomach's never empty. I'm fat. All right, shut up. Shut up and do your shot. This is a great visual cue for those listening at home.
So, those of you not listening, Noob-Noob has picked up the glass, and he is pondering his fate. He looks very apprehensive.
I've never seen anybody regret life so much.
Yeah, he did have it the traditional way, but this is a straight shot, and I don't know that he can keep this down.
If you hold your nose,
Has
it'll
anyone
be
else
better.
doing a straight shot of absinthe, or am I the only asshole that's doing it?
No, 'cause we
no?
drink it
Okay, then
proper.
shut the fuck up. Okay? Yeah.
Let's get this done.
If you hold
bitch.
your nose, it's better.
And it's down.
And
oh,
and
he's literally tearing at his throat because it's the.
It burns! Where's my food?
Okay. Loudness from the noob, and he's relaxing his throat.
Look, if you have to
Take
puke,
it like
use our Thor
Aren't you used to
bucket.
relaxing your throat like this? Come on, man.
Dad was more gentle.
That was more gentle.
There's nothing more fun than making non-drinkers drink alcohol.
So you have a choice now, noob. We do have chasers for you. Not your traditional
Whatever.
chasers.
Just give me whatever. I don't care.
How about a banana?
Sure.
a tiny
A
banana.
tiny banana?
It's a little
Yes.
tiny
Enjoy your
banana.
tiny banana.
God, get this over.
He's gonna gnaw right through the actual banana. Oh
Oh my God! There we go.
Now we've just
More
ruined
visual
everything.
comedy for you, those listening at home.
That's some good shit.
So I guess let's move on beyond the.
And what we also have, and as incentive for, I mean, everyone's been complaining a lot, but if Noob-Noob does really good today, we have treats
really
for
good.
him.
We have treats.
Because we happen to have a whole box of sugar cubes.
Yes, because
So-
he is like a tiny horse.
Noob-Noob?
Oh,
we
he
missed.
caught the he went. Oh, and he ate it right off the table. Yes, a sugar cube and some bananas.
We have sugar cube treats for when Noob-Noob does good today.
Yes. So when we hear good jokes, we'll give him sugar cubes.
Ironically enough, we use them also to keep him from pissing on the carpet.
So let's talk a little bit about Ragnarok. I mean, I think we all, we'll see if we all had a good time going to go see it. But clearly, I think Scott came out the winner.
I did. I have the poster I got for free. I have a beer bucket, which I think it's fantastic. They're finally giving you stuff to hold your beer in.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that was not a beer bucket, Scott. That was,
No.
I know we've adapted it for a beer bucket, but I don't think they'd let you walk into a theater with that many beers.
I mean, it is a problem. I never have anything to hold my beer in when I go into the theater, and I think this is a perfect solution to that problem right there.
Yeah, it's a refillable popcorn tin, Scott.
What?
Yeah, I know there's no hole in the bottom, but yes.
That's what I thought. Popcorn's supposed to have the hole in the bottom.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but I'm pretty sure that that's a popcorn tin.
All right, well.
Because I'm pretty sure it's.
That tin's
I don't
gonna-
think it's gonna keep your beers that cold.
That tin's going to cut my dick up, though.
It certainly is. You're gonna have some scarring.
Although I'll tell you what, it's not as much fun when you go to the theater by yourself. But the popcorn trick always works regardless whether you're with somebody else or not.
Yes.
Does the butter burn, Scott?
The butter.
the
Lesson
butter
number
definitely
one,
burns with a tin.
do not get the hot butter when you're doing the popcorn trick.
No hot butter when you're.
Is there such thing as cold butter for popcorn? No?
Yeah, sure.
Is
When
that
it
a-
comes out of the
Yeah,
thing, it's
just-
like it's not even really butter. It's just like liquid,
It's oil.
like oil,
Liquid
It's
butter,
just
though.
liquid fat.
liquid fat,
Liquid flavored butter?
No, just take a stick of butter.
Flavor liquid butter?
fat
Liquid
flavored butter.
Yes.
butter.
Just take a stick and just put it on top. Just take a bowl of popcorn, put a stick of butter on top of it, and you're good to go.
Sure, yeah.
But with these cool grab bags, I guess we'll just go around the table and get some initial thoughts on Ragnarok. And then what we're going to try to do is keep it spoiler-free as long as we possibly can. And then when we get to the spoiler parts, we may end up going to a part 2 for you guys out there. So, Scott, what did you think?
I loved it. I loved it. If you heard any of the past episodes, I was pissed off that they cut his hair. Guess what? I got over that real fast.
Because they gave you that shirtless scene. That's not a spoiler.
I know.
Because if you've ever seen any of the Thor movies, they always give you a solid shirtless scene. You
Hemsworth
got yours.
Did not want to do a shirtless scene. It wasn't in the script originally. He
Really?
was so happy. And then when they're getting close to it, the director comes to me and he's like, "Oh, I think we're going to do a shirtless scene." And Hemsworth's like, "No, come on. Now I got to go work out again." I saw it 2 nights in a row. I went and saw IMAX 3D on Thursday, and then I went and saw it in a regular cinema on Friday.
So you got the 3D experience.
Exactly. I went to the 3D experience. When I went for the 3D experience, the first thing I thought was, oh my God, this looks fantastic. It's huge. It's great. Visually stunning. I just had to go the second night so I can compare the two. What I found out, two important things I found out. One, if you have the choice, go see it in IMAX 3D. This is one of those visually stunning movies that when you go to see it in that venue, it works.
Because you need to see his rippling muscles ripple.
It works. His
in
rippling
3D,
muscles are beautiful.
Touch, grab.
But from the very first scene, it's just amazing.
And at some point, we'll get to the Hulk Dong. But we know that's all 3D rendered. So did you think it was post 3D rendered, or was it shot in 3D?
It was post 3D rendered, and I've always been completely against post 3D rendering. However, I think this is a talent that they have perfected at this point.
So they got
when they started doing it was horrible. The wrong things were 3D. It was cheap.
You get one or two shots in a movie that would show you.
I think they got it figured out now. The entire thing was 3D. Even when they didn't need it, it was still in there. Was subtle enough that it didn't blow away the whole movie from you. But from the very first scene, the very first thing that happens, it just looks visually amazing. When I went to see it the second night, that first scene, I was like, okay, this just doesn't look as good. Of course, it's not going to. So I decided I was going to sit there and just decide, all right, what was better than the other one, non-3D or 3D? But halfway through the movie, I kind of forgot that's the reason I was there for, and I just started enjoying the movie again. You know, we just sit there, just get immersed in, and I just got lost into this movie again and just enjoyed it and completely forgot to compare the two. Even without that 3D experience, I still got lost. It was still a great movie. So if you can't do the 3D experience,
still worth your money.
It's still worth your money. Absolutely. I think this is a home run all the way.
Okay. All right. So we'll get to ratings at some point as far as where you're going to put it in the MCU. Noob-Noob, go ahead.
It was fine. It was good.
Noob-Noob's going to drop the hammer.
Yeah, well, not drop the hammer. I mean, it was good. It was entertaining. It was very hollow. I would say the longer you're away from the movie, the less you care about it. I just didn't find anything emotionally impactful. There was no weight to the movie. It was a very shallow, go for the gag kind of thing.
It's funny because I was thinking about this myself because I saw it with a group of people, and while I definitely enjoyed it, I definitely came back to the point where I was thinking, like, what do I remember about this movie? Like you said, there wasn't like a whole lot of resonance, but keep going.
Yeah, I had three particular points that we'll get into a little later that were, in a normal movie, should have emotional impact and weight, and only one of the three really landed that tone. The rest were kind of played off in a joking manner. So in the movie, I loved it. I came out of it thinking 9 out of 10.
Wow.
Okay. I was really happy, and then I kind of read some reviews. I was looking into it a little more. The longer I got away from it, because I did see it opening night on Thursday. It's now Sunday. The more I think about it, the more I'm just like, what did it accomplish? It was a very pointless.
Where did it move the MCU forward?
It was very pointless. The villain was kind of pointless.
See, but here's a question for you.
See if you get any more sugar cubes, bitch.
I know. He's already raining on our... So here's a question, though. What's more important to you, though? Moving the MC... Like, the MCU is in a weird spot right now. Are they trying to move themselves forward? Like, are they trying to move is our expectation that they move themselves forward? Or are we okay with standalone movies? Because as far as a standalone movie, I think it kind of... It did a lot of things that were satisfying for me. But, from what you're saying, you didn't feel that same level of, like, emotional resonance.
I have the exact opposite take. So I don't even think that it should be considered a standalone movie anymore because if you think about are we in Marvel Phase 3 now?
I think we're in Phase 3.
Phase 3. Phase 1 and 2 kind of had the standalones, and then they built up to Avengers, the pinnacle of each phase. Phase 3 just seems like it's buddy movies. So you had Captain America Civil War, which was just a mini Avengers movie. You have Spider-Man, which was mainly Spider-Man, and then you had a sprinkle of Iron Man in there. So there's never truly...
I don't think Iron Man was in it. I actually really enjoyed the fact that Iron Man was not in that movie that much. I felt like they did the movie... When they promoted it, I definitely was like, oh, this is like an Iron Man / Spider-Man movie, and he just was not in it that much. So I thought he took the place of like Uncle Ben and that whole... he's the father figure that Spider-Man is looking for. But I thought they did a really good job with the level of Tony Stark's involvement in that movie.
Yeah, I thought with the exception of Spider-Man Homecoming, which was a very succinct, and truncated, enclosed movie. Every other movie is serving the purpose of Infinity War, which I don't like. It's taking away from the individual movie. So Thor Ragnarok is essentially just fan service and just set up for Infinity War, which I wasn't really a big fan of.
Did it really? I mean, I don't know.
I disagree
I
with
don't
that.
want to get into spoilers. Like, let's try to make sure we're sticking to our guns here. But I don't necessarily feel like I'm any more ready for Infinity Wars than I was before, other than, characters that we knew were in different places are now kind of like reunited in some level. But other than that, I don't necessarily feel any more prepared for Infinity War. Do you?
I think this is it's still a good standalone movie without knowing where it came from and where it's going. You don't have to know a whole lot about the Marvel folklore, the
like if you
comic
just
series,
watch it
the
on its
movies,
own,
stuff like that.
do you think it holds up? Like if you don't know anything else, does it hold up on its own?
Yeah.
I think
I think
kind of
so.
think so. If I'm thinking about it, because they explain basically everything, and they don't necessarily spoon feed it to you, but
They don't have to. And even like the big green guy, we'll get into more spoilers, but when he shows up, whether you knew that he was missing or not, it didn't matter.
it didn't matter.
He shows
just
up
was
there.
a character
They
that was part
talk
of the
about
plot.
it briefly, and then they get right back into, okay, we have this goal to get to. You don't have to see the other stuff to see this movie, which is fantastic because you're not completely lost in it. And if you do know the lore behind it, they don't spoon feed it to you enough where, like, okay, you're now beating a dead horse. It went back and forth with multiple characters, multiple ways. No, I think it's a great standalone movie.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards that. I think once we get into our critiques of it and some of the points that I know we're gonna want to make, we can kind of break the movie down a little bit more with analysis. But as far as the way I looked at it, I did really enjoy it. The thing I found that was kind of interesting, because you know me, I'm very much into the directors, and I'm really sorry, I cannot pronounce that guy's name. Even it's like Watiti Kiki, Watiti, Watiti.
Who was also the voice of one of the characters,
Was he really?
the Rock Man.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Korg, I think his character name
Okay.
is Korg.
He's
yeah.
that guy. Well, he's got a comedy background for sure because he's from Flight of the Conchords.
Yeah.
I think, and I was explaining this because I saw this with a whole group of people yesterday, and they were asking me questions about it. And I really find the way that Marvel does things, I really like it because they have like it's almost like a school for training unknown directors how to get themselves into blockbusters and how to handle it in a really good way. I remember reading something about like they have like a whole CGI part where they're like, okay, if you've never dealt with this much CGI before, like here you're gonna go through a course on how to handle CGI, how to set up your shots. We're gonna spoon feed you all this stuff. So the directors are essentially plugged into, and this has been a complaint, like the Marvel machine, but the Marvel machine has allowed these, young new directors do something like completely different. I definitely think this director put his stamp on this movie, right?
Absolutely.
Do you guys agree with that?
Absolutely. This was
Same with James Gunn. Like James Gunn has clearly cut out his own section of the Marvel universe. They don't necessarily look just like a Marvel movie. People are complaining that this is too much of a Marvel movie, but to give like directors who don't have that kind of experience, same with Ryan Coogler, who's about to be put into Black Panther. I think they're giving these guys like, look, anything you can imagine, you can do. Just stay within our universe. I think that's a really cool concept. I really like it, and anybody who shits on it, I think is kind of dumb, and it's bit some of those people in the ass. Oh,
there is, and you hear some reviews already. There's people out there saying, "Oh, this wasn't. I wanted a more darker, more direct, serious movie." You got Justice League in 2 weeks. Shut the hell up.
Yeah.
This was a fun movie, plain and simple. Fun
Justice League's gonna be better.
movie. Justice League is going to be horrible.
It's going to be
Oh,
better.
Horrible.
yeah.
Why
Horrible.
don't you give Daddy a sugar cube and shut your mouth?
Yeah. Guess what? See these sugar cubes? You see him? You see him? Nope, bitch.
Oh my god. Now we're gonna have some grumpiness
A
on
conversation for some other time. Oh my god, that was horrible. Why did I do
set.
that?
Why would you want to eat
Why
a
would I
sugar cube?
put a whole sugar cube in my
I just
mouth?
spit it into my mouth.
I saw Justice League previews twice before going into these movies.
Yeah.
Don't want to see it. Don't care. Could give
Well,
it
we have to
shit
see
less.
it, but-
We
I
have to see
purposely
it, but
walked out of the preview of Justice League just to not spoil
probably
anything.
best thing for you. See the previews. Tells you nothing. It's dark. It's depressing. 5 people come together. We're not here for Justice League. Let's move on. But it's going to be
So
shitty.
let's talk about MCU as far as was this the funniest MCU movie that we've seen so far?
Yes.
Probably yes.
Okay, so let me
Yes.
throw some out to you. Ant-Man. Funnier or less funny? It's close, right?
I would say Ant-Man is more naturally funny. Thor is more forced funny.
Yeah, they threw a lot
There
of
was a
jokes
lot more
against the wall.
slapstick. Slap. I have an echo in my
Slapstick?
headphones. This is awesome. So there's a lot
There's a lot more
slapstick comedy in here. Just
Slapstick.
jokes for the premise of making jokes, and I think it worked. Especially coming from the Dark World, what was it? Dark World, right?
Thor.
Dark,
the Dark
I
World.
see.
The
I
last
thought
one?
Dark World was pretty funny though. I like the meow meow references.
No,
and,
that
That's
that
one
wasn't
thing.
okay,
funny.
so again, avoiding spoilers. I don't want to get into that whole thing. But so let's go to Guardians, the two Guardians movies. Funnier or less funny? See, I think Guardians might have been funnier.
Guardians is
funny.
more enjoyable but less funny.
Less funny. The second Guardians also had to do this whole family thing. Good storyline, but a lot of these emotional, let's try to pull your heartstring moments.
So, okay, is this an intentional comedy? I think it's an intentional comedy because they avoided certain action elements that they could have gone to, and they skipped them. So to me, this was a comedy movie built into a Thor franchise. Thoughts?
I think this is more what Thor should be. Thor. I said it before in past episodes. Thor's always been a real tongue-in-cheek character. It's always been kind of half-handed. I mean, like I said, it's God's,
Asgard is ridiculous.
yeah, God's
in
throwing
general.
hammers.
Yeah.
The one thing I did do with a little bit of research, it's very true to actual Viking lore. If you look at old
for
Nordic
sure.
mythology, it's hands-on. They did it perfectly. I mean, it's page for page from old Nordic
Even
mythology.
some of the
books.
themes that when we get into spoilers, we'll talk
was
about.
really good.
But those themes still they are very apropos for what they're going
But
for.
that's
in this as well.
that's always been Thor. Thor has always been kind of half-hearted, comic, fun stories. It's not dark like Batman. It's not action punch like Superman. It's just in which neither of those are in the same world. Doesn't matter. But regardless, it's always been lighthearted and fun, and let's just have a fun story, tell a couple jokes, and just sit around a campfire and bullshit for a little bit. It's just a fun series, and I'm glad they got to it because they got away from it and they got back to it, and it was a winner.
I mean, thematically, though, Thor isn't really consistent at all. If you go to the first Thor movie, it was directed by Kenneth Branagh, who has a deep background in plays and Broadway and all that stuff, so it was more Shakespearean, and the way he was acting. But then you go to this movie, he's acting like basically like,
a buffoon.
yeah, kind of like a surfer, California space
Yeah.
retard or whatever
Well,
you want
I
to say.
definitely think, and part of that is the nature of the MCU as it evolves. When they first started, they were nervous about making this universe, which no one has even come close to duplicating, including their own TV segment. The MCU movie universe is, they had seasoned directors come in to do the first couple movies to kind of get your, look, we can establish this in a real world. We can make it sound like make sense. And now, and they have to save money. I mean, these actors are costing more and more money. They're bringing in younger talent. I mean, Doctor Strange, directed by a horror movie director who, had a couple of small hits under their belt. Same with this guy from Flight of the Conchords, had a couple of hits. Ryan Coogler essentially has Creed under his belt. Like, these guys don't necessarily have a ton of experience. I mean, James Gunn. As much as people want to say James Gunn is a fantastic director, the guy really only directed one movie, Slither, that anyone cares about at all, which is a cult classic, which I care about, but I don't really know. Like, do you guys have you ever seen Slither?
Great movie. Loved it.
But it's like...
But it is. It absolutely
And
is.
it's a total homage to another movie from the 80s anyway.
Small release, cult classic, but still a really good movie.
So what they're doing is they're putting people, like these big-time directors, even the guys who do Civil War, the brothers, the Russo brothers, who I think are absolutely, like, amazing directors. They gave these guys who had mostly commercial experience, and they're like, here, we're going to let you do blockbusters. We already have the foundation for what you need to do. Just put yourselves into it. And I think that kind of risk has actually really paid off, and that's what no one else has been able to do. Is they're like, we believe in our system, and our system is so good that we can almost put anybody in it. That being said, there are some pretty major flaws in Ragnarok, which we'll get into later. But I'm excited about that. That gets me excited that they're giving new young directors, Scott Keebler, really great opportunities to do movies. Like one day you could be directing Black Panther.
Yeah, and there's
Black
these
Panther
guys,
3.
Black
Scott
Panther
Keebler.
3, The Blackening. Oh wait, that's something very different.
Okay.
Whoa.
But you're talking about, they're bringing in these young directors, giving them a chance, unseen, which is a big risk. But everyone's bitching because you're going away from the storyline. You're changing things up too much. This is just a general nature of comic books in general, and whether you're talking Marvel or DC.
Yeah, they have to adapt them.
Comic books adapt, they evolved. How many times have they killed off major characters for them to come back? Superman's died 18 times. He dies like every other day and then comes back.
He doesn't
it's
die,
magic,
he just
it's
gets
something else.
weakened.
But
He's really only died once, but then he
Yeah.
came back as 6 different people. Is that
I'd
Yeah.
have to
The
look
death
that
of
up.
they
Superman.
constantly evolve. People are bitching and moaning about him cutting his hair. Guess what? That was actually Chris Hemsworth coming to Waititi and saying, you know what? I think we should cut his hair. It hasn't been done before. It's new. It's different. It's evolving a character away from the source material. But I think it's something that, can actually make this thing grow. And they went with it. And I don't know if it was Chris being like, I'm sick of the long hair, or like, I actually want to see this character evolve on his own away from the original storyline. It worked. It happened so fast.
You just spoiled the fact that he cut his hair. My
It's
God.
in the
I know it's in the previews.
previews. I'm not going to tell you how it happened because that'll be spoilers, because that was... we'll talk about that later. But yeah, it was Chris's idea. And he came out and said, and the director followed it, and cool. We're now branching further away from the source material from the comics, and you know what? It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Everyone that's, you're not following the comic books. Shut up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that there's a huge segment. I mean, people complain about everything these days. So, and at some point, we're going to complain a little bit about Ragnarok.
I complain
a lot
about
about
I
it.
complain about Noob-Noob all the time. It doesn't change anything.
It does not change him
He's
at
still
all.
a little bitch.
He still
Why are your
wants.
nipples hard right now?
They always are. When I'm next to you,
Oh my God, they're both hard.
Yeah,
Wow,
they
that's-
always
that
are.
is
I'm one of those
fantastic.
guys
Just
who
give him
always
a
has
sugar cube
beautiful
and-
beard,
Oh my God.
hard nipples. That's just who I am.
The sugar and absinthe makes me handsy.
Beautiful beard and. Why don't you give him a sugar cube?
Are we trying to get me diabetes? I mean, I love them, but
Ready? Ready?
sugar cube.
Oh, right in the face. And he's
In the face.
down for the count.
Look
Down
at that.
for the
One
count.
shot of absinthe and the guy's off his ass.
I got it.
And we're back.
Yes, we're all back to where we belong. Well, I would say we could probably go to spoilers. I think it's fine to go into spoilers now. What do you want to do? Spoilers?
Well,
Well, I don't know. I would just say that in terms of
Oh, we didn't talk about box office. Let's
Yes,
go
let's do
there.
box
Let's
office.
talk about the impact. About what does this set up for the MCU in the future?
because
We
it's
can do all
great to
that
talk
stuff.
about this while we're on air. We're discussing whether we're going to make this a 2-part episode. But guess what, you viewers at home? You're going to have a cliffhanger later. Will we go into spoilers now, or do you have to wait for it?
like 5 whole minutes.
yeah,
like-
really don't. Anyway,
So,
So-
cliffhanger. The cliffhanger would be whether or not he chokes to death on sugar cubes.
We can
should
try.
just left him there on the ground.
I mean they melt in the mouth, so it's really hard to.
I have
sugar
a,
cube dots.
I
Actually,
have a pound of sugar here,
from Domino.
he has 1 whole pound of sugar.
which
That's a lot of sugar.
198 sugar cubes.
I'm fairly
We've probably
sure.
gone about 10 into the box.
Yeah, but he could. If
I wanted
heard
bigger
they're
horse
re-
sugar cubes, like
they're
the one
really
you would
good-
feed horses, or you just lick them.
That's like a salt lick, but I'm pretty sure you can ingest them rectally. Does it say that on there?
I don't.
we
I think
can
you
try.
can ingest
I mean,
anything rectally
they're
that
cubes,
dissolves.
so I mean, the sharp edges might hurt a little bit going in, but I'm willing to try.
I don't think.
Well, we won't
bend
film
over.
any of that.
I don't
So
wanna-
let's talk about box office. What are we looking at here?
So Thor Ragnarok had a pretty good box office opening. It had estimated right now, so it's not official numbers. 121 million.
What does that put that up against? Does that,
If you want to compare to the last major one that released, Spider-Man: Homecoming, it
Yeah.
had a $117 million opening, so
it's
it's
right in
a
the
little
ballpark.
above.
It's right above there.
A little above Homecoming. Coincidentally, though, if you go to midnight previews and projecting, Spider-Man actually had a bigger midnight preview. Well, not really midnight anymore because they release them on Thursday night. But opening day preview, rather, of 15.4 million for Spider-Man. Thor only came in at 14.5, yet it outpaced the overall weekend numbers of Spider-Man, bringing it to 121.
so it's a win for MCU.
Yep.
They're not. I mean, this was pretty hyped up, though. I thought the hype was pretty huge.
They really hard played this movie. It's almost the opposite of, I know we're not going to talk about it much, but Justice League, they're doing the exact opposite. They're not really hyping it up at all.
Definitely downplaying it.
Thor, they were shooting this thing into your face any which way they can.
Well, it was also they were advertising it on TV as like the best reviewed Marvel movie so far. Like, what is Metacritic and IGN? What are those guys? What are those?
Yeah, I was gonna say I personally didn't think it was fantastic, but Cinema Score, it's getting an A, which is really good. You can.
I think Rotten Tomatoes to me was the most was probably the best one because I feel like, and I'm just being a dick here, but I think the critics are gonna lean towards a higher rating because of the diverse casting and the diverse like director and all that blah blah blah, which I think they did a great job. Like, I don't care, you know what I mean? Like, if somebody diverse plays a character, that's whatever. It's good. It doesn't matter. Just be the best actor you could be. But the audience score was a little bit lower, right? What didn't you tell me it was 89?
Yeah, so the audience score for Rotten Tomatoes came in at 89%. The average rating out of 5 was 4.3.
But what was the critic rating?
Then the tomato meter for critic rating was 93%, although the average rating was 7.5 out of 10, which I'm not sure how that calculates to 93% overall.
See, but that's what we talked about this when we talked about Defenders, where I feel like the audience is smarter than the critics on some level, because the critics always look at like higher level like BS. Like, they're looking at like, how diverse is it? Did you whitewash it? Blah 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 blah. Whereas like the audience is going to be more honest, you know.
You also have to fight the critics because there's so many out there that just want to make a name for themselves. So if I say something
just to be a dick,
horrible about what could be a great movie, it's going to be the thing. Also, when it comes to the critics, look at the award shows, the Oscars, Emmys, everything else. These people love things about themselves. Every movie that's come out there that's been about movie making, about their world, always wins the Oscar, and nothing else wins at all. So you never listen to the things the critics say. You're also now in a different world altogether when it comes to previews and trailers and advertising for movies. If you don't say anything about the movie, then no one's going to go see it. I mean, you have so many examples. Mother is the one that always stands out. Nobody knew what that movie was about, and nobody went to see it. But you also look at movies like Blade Runner. We did a review on Blade Runner 2029.
Really well reviewed.
Really well reviewed. Horrible movie. Bombed in the box office. The trailers didn't say anything about the movie.
Actually, #reverse bombed.
Yeah. They didn't say anything about the movie. They were trying to upplay the fact that Harrison Ford was back. But what was the story? No one told anything. They didn't say anything.
Because there was no story.
Bombed. There was no story, but there was nothing in the trailers that gave away anything. Thor, they hit Thor hard and loud. They played the Immigrant Song in the trailers. How much does it cost to use a song like the Immigrant Song? And they blasted it through the trailers.
Probably
and the
stole it from somebody else anyway.
But
not as much as
they
you
used
think.
it. And even when you go to see the movie, I mean, you think like, okay, you spend a lot of money on a song like the Immigrant Song. All right, this is going to be in the big ending finale. No, they used it in the first 20 seconds of the movie.
Led Zeppelin, World's Greatest Thieves.
Yes. Doesn't matter. Still a great song, and it worked, and it came out beautifully and cost a lot of money, but they spent the money, and the return was fantastic. Justice League is not doing that. They're not telling what this movie's about. Oh, 5 friends get together. Watch Friends on Netflix.
That's all you need.
Super
5 friends.
Well,
but they're
it's not gonna have the same effect.
And it's Batfleck.
As blasting.
It is Batfleck.
The trailers, blasting enough out there to make people interested.
Oh, can I say the greatest
theaters.
line from the Justice League trailer so far? As Flash goes to Batman, he goes, "What's your superpower?" He goes, "I'm rich." Ah!
Yeah. And then there's one
I'm
part,
rich, bitch.
And then there's the other part where Aquaman jumps onto the Batmobile and he says, "Oh, you're crazy." It doesn't tell anything. It's weird snippets that don't tell a story at all. Trust me, I've tried this. I've put out trailers for movies, and because I didn't have enough stuff filmed yet, I couldn't tell the story yet. So people watch and say, "What's this about?" It's just a random images thrown together. I don't give a shit about this.
You just want a teaser, though.
It
You want to tease the movie, and that's it.
But you
I
have
don't
to
like trailers. I like
put
teasers.
a little body into it in order to tease or trail. Something to get people interested. They did it with Thor. They're not doing it with.
See, here's the thing with the trailers of Thor. Thor was a very comedic movie, and they really went hard on it being one of the funniest Marvel movies, making you laugh, making you enjoy being there in the cinema. The trailers gave a lot of the jokes away. So
I don't know. All right, I think we can take him.
All right. They just
What?
your goddamn thing there keeps hitting the bottom of the goddamn table, and it's annoying the shit out of me.
Good
Yeah,
for you.
it
I'm
keeps
not
going
hurt.
dink, 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 dink. Yes, it's annoying the shit out of me. I need you to stop doing
And
it.
maybe if someone else wore monitors like they should, they'd hear that
No,
no one's
that's
hearing
not my
He's
that.
job.
wearing a hat. That's
Your
a monitor
job,
enough.
yeah, it's a monitor. My job
Now you hear that.
is to avoid annoying noises
Yeah, guess what?
because it strictly just annoys me.
It just annoys you and nobody
My job
else
is to make
in
it through
world.
this
It's
to get to brunch.
so annoying.
Are we back on track now, guys? Are we
No.
good? Are we good?
We're
You guys-
close.
you
All right,
still-
he won't.
wait.
What the fuck are you
Now
doing, Scott?
I shortened it up.
We could
It's
also
not-
do a
it's
count
not
of how
too
many.
long.
We
Like
could
your
do a
dick?
count of how many times Scott takes his headphones off. There's definitely a count
It
for
was
that.
just I couldn't get my hair right to this morning. It just wasn't sitting right.
You need the
It's
Farrah
annoying
Fawcett
me.
spray.
I'm
Isn't
gonna
Farrah
do this.
Fawcett dead from cancer?
Yes.
If
Is
you
she?
watch Stranger Things, you would get that reference, but
Here,
you
I'm
don't,
just-
so you
No,
don't.
but is
I'm
she
gonna
really
do-
dead?
I'm
She's
gonna
dead,
do
right?
The,
No, I don't know if she's
She
dead.
got the cancer?
I don't know.
No.
I'm gonna.
Why
do
don't you have a computer in front
That's
of
a
you?
lot of effort.
Why don't
Here,
you just Google?
I'm gonna do the
is
radio
Farrah
no.
Fawcett
I just
dead?
put a hat on.
we
You're not
good?
supposed to wear a hat.
We're getting sidetracked here.
Pretty sure you have to put a black tape over your logo, and we don't care.
Really?
No, I don't
Yeah.
care.
Thor all over the place.
We've
We've
taken
got
so
an
long, I've
absinthe
forgotten.
bottle facing camera, and in a second we're gonna open a beer
Marvel,
up.
Thor, whatever.
And, yeah.
Okay, so we've.
I
I think we
forgot
can
what I
go
was
to-
talking about. Honestly, it was something. Oh,
It was
okay. There we go.
No one
The-
really cared whatever you were
shut up.
saying.
It was the whole point of the trailers. It gave away a lot of the jokes. So the jokes.
It did give away the best joke too, which I thought totally when I saw that joke, I was like,
That's what it would
it
have
was
been really
so
great if you
good in
didn't
the
hear it.
preview, but
I
if you
can't
never
wait
heard
to
it,
hear what joke you're talking about because there were other great jokes in
There
there
were a
that
couple
weren't
really
in the
good
trailers.
jokes.
I think one of the best ones, which was buried in there, which
Are
you
we
did
going
have
to-
to see a previous movie to understand. But yeah,
The
it was a
lullaby
really
joke?
good one. No, it wasn't the lullaby joke. It was something else. It was Loki, and I think you'll realize what it is as
I
soon as.
think I know what it is. Well, okay, can we just go to spoilers? I'm tired.
I don't know, how long has it
I'm
been?
I'm tired of not trying to spoil this movie.
All right, well here we go.
It's almost 40 minutes of us not spoiling the movie.
It's been
So-
40
Thank
minutes.
you, audience.
So I guess that's what absinthe does. It makes me realize how long time hasn't happened. That's not a sentence.
Time is warped
I
for
think
you.
he
It's
needs
stretched.
another shot.
One more
no,
shot of
fuck
absinthe.
that shit. Nope.
So now,
Nope.
OrkU audience, tune in next week for spoilers.
Next week, they have to wait a whole week for spoilers.
What? We have a week to kill between now and Justice League.
Oh, well.
You realize they're just gonna piss people off, right?
Yeah.
Hey, we're telling them to go see it. So,
Yeah.
okay.
You know what? Here it is. Here's the first episode. We didn't spoil anything. Go see this movie. I'm staring at the camera because it works in audio world. Those of you listening at home, look at me. Go see this movie. And then in a week's time, we'll give you spoilers. And trust me, we got more to talk about. You're going to have lots to listen to.
Ew, you're so creepy.
Noob-Noob
Stop
is
saying that.
creepily rubbing my beard.
You're
more
so
visual jokes
disgustingly
for those
creepy.
listening at home.
So disgustingly
Go
creepy.
see the movie. If you can't see it in IMAX 3D
Or Dolby Prime.
or Dolby, it's just audio. Who cares?
Or go
It's
see it with
4K.
friends.
Or just go see it. Go
Looks
see it with
it
friends.
looks
Go
better
see it
than
by
IMAX.
yourself. Do the popcorn trick to yourself. Cut the hole in it. Don't get butter. Go
the rib out
see
first.
the movie. Come back. Listen
we-
to our next
I don't know.
episode, and we've got
We'll
a
spoil
ton
the
to talk
crap
about.
out of it.
I don't know what we're
And we
talking
will
about.
spoil the living hell out
We're
of
going
this
to
movie.
analyze and spoil the living crap out of it.
We're doing a favor to you, so you don't do it yourself. Go see the movie. Come back next week. Spoilers galore.
Just stay loose and tight at the same time.
Yes, more absent.
So we're not going to plug anything because he ruined that end time for us. So from all of us here at
ScottWillKillYou.com,
OrkU,
KeelerMedia.com.
oh, he got him in. So anyway, from all of us here at OrkU, love y'all. You've had greatest of fear.